Part two. um, and I think it'll benefit him to get familiar with the operation of a vehicle much sooner than when he turns 16. I would definitely, especially like the way he is and the way he perceives the world, I would hate to wait until he was 16 to try to get him behind the wheel. That would be very difficult, I think. But to get him kind of used to it now, to get him to be not afraid of it now, and to familiarize him with the controls and how an automobile works, now, and let him, just get in the truck and drive it around the damn yard now and again, I think will be good for him. It was good for me. My folks used to let me drive upon occasion around our little neighborhood. All the roads were dirt. The neighborhood was good size, but it wasn't super, super populated yet. I was, 11, 12 years old, and my my dad had this 86 Ford Taurus. And it was a gray Ford Taurus, and I really liked it as a kid because that was RoboCop's police interceptor, was an 86 Ford Taurus. And it was a good little car. It was fuel injected, it was front wheel drive, which I hate front wheel drive, and I do not like fuel injection. But it was a good little car. We ended up selling it for cheap because the fuel pump went out, and the fuel pump was in the gas tank. And unfortunately, my cousin, who was more like my uncle, I've talked about him, master mechanic, had passed away before now. And my dad had no idea how to replace a fuel pump in the gas tank, and we didn't have Google and YouTube and all that, so it was a much more daunting task to him. My dad knows how to do electronics. My dad could build you a computer from bare bones parts, but he does have a tendency to get a little overwhelmed with mechanical stuff, especially in a vehicle where you have to depend on your work, to get you from A to B. Now, knowing how relatively easy it is to change a fuel pump, an in-tank fuel pump, it's a good bit more work than changing the fuel pump on a carbureted engine, which is bolted to the engine. Takes 10-15 minutes to do it. But it's not that hard to do it in the gas tank, and I kind of wish we had kept that car. Being as I am now, I would convert it to rear wheel drive, but yeah, it was a cool little car. However, my mom had a 1981 Chrysler Cordoba. It was her first car because my grandfather, her father, would not teach her to drive, would not allow her to learn to drive as a kid. My dad taught her to drive after they got married. And he bought her first car as a candy apple red 81 Chrysler Cordoba. Beautiful car, in my opinion. Somewhat similar to my 85 Grand Fury, but this was a two-door, sportier looking car, the 318 V8, and I absolutely loved that car, man. Uh, that car was kind of like, was somewhat representative of Christine to me. It was a red Mopar, older, old classic Mopar. Not anywhere near like Christine, but still. And I dearly loved that car. My mom did too. The day we had to get rid of it broke my mom's heart straight down the middle. And we had to get rid of it because, again, it needed some work, and my dad didn't know how to do it. We didn't know anybody that could do it, and at the time it was just my dad working. My mom was trying to find something, but she had been working as a maid at a motel over in East Palatka, and the motel had laid her and a couple other of the girls off, and she was pretty sure it was that time, and she was looking for something. But at this time, it was just my dad working. He didn't have a great job, we were making ends meet, but that was about it. And we had these absolutely shit neighbors. It seemed to be like a curse for my family. There's always been neighbors that have always decided that they needed to worry about what was going on with our business. And the car didn't run, and they ended up calling code enforcement about the car. And code enforcement, in my opinion, is a crock of shit. I don't think that the county should be able to come out and tell you what you can and can't do on your property, especially when you don't live in an incorporated city. You live like in a downtown city area. I can kind of see it a little bit more. But, as long as you're not doing nothing blatantly illegal, polluting the property or whatnot, I don't think they should be able to tell you what you can and can't do, can and can't have. I don't think they should be able to tell you you can't have a car just because it doesn't run. But they can, and they did. We basically gave that car away. And it absolutely broke my mom's heart. I will never forget the way she cried over that car, and just walking up on her, sitting by herself, and just that is, ever since I was little, been a dream of mine to find another 81 Chrysler Cordoba, candy apple red, was like a cream white Corinthian leather interior. Ode to Mr. Montalban, Ricardo Montalban. You remember him? He was a hell of an actor. And he became the spokesperson for Chrysler and its Corinthian leather in the mid and late 70s. The Chrysler Cordoba was actually influenced and styled, for him. That was Chrysler, put that out there as Ricardo Montalban's automobile of choice back in the 70s. And I dearly want to find one for her one day. Anyway, I'm rambling again. God, going into all these old stories and getting 10,000 miles away from my original point. How did I start this? Joey driving around the property? My folks let me drive around the neighborhood, and I always wanted to drive that Cordoba. There was a pond a couple streets over. I'd always want to drive it over there and look at the pond, And I think that helped me when I started driving for real. Probably not going to get out here and do a video on the mower today, which I was going to do, but it is raining, and it's been raining on and off since I've been up this morning at 6 o'clock. It's probably going to rain on and off all damn day. So, I also started talking about I was pissed off yesterday evening after a conversation I had with Joey. Didn't let him see it, but, you know.